I built the cabinets from my laundry from scratch and the broom closet is next. But it's very important that I have access through to reach the connections behind the washer and dryer because let's be honest, who's gonna move this thing if I need to get back there? This is what my laundry used to look like and this is what I plan for it to look like in the near future, and this is where I'm at. In the past few videos, I showed the demo process of the laundry and how I built the cabinets up to this point, along with some complications.
Time to butcher the cabinet.
But now I'm past all that and I'm ready to build a broom closet, but I'm hoping that this time it goes smoothly. No, you gotta be kidding me. It's cracked. On the last couple videos, I built the top cabinet of the broom closet and the doors, but this cabinet goes above my head, so I had to figure out a way to install it. So I made this jig in my flip-flops to put the cabinet on top and secure it in place. The spot where this goes is so small and awkward that it would have been hard for two people to hold this in place, so the jig ended up being a big help. And after the cabinet was in place, I secured it with screws. Alright, so now it's time for me to finish this bottom part of the broom cabinet. Ideally, you have like a tall cabinet in here, but I don't want to do that. I'm just going to build a frame and a door, and when you open it, you can actually just squeeze in here if you're small like me. But mostly because I wanted to have access to the washer and dryer connections and all that, because if something happened, I didn't want to move this. This is really heavy both together, so I didn't want to have to move it completely out. So I can just squeeze in here and shut off the water if I have to, and I think that's the best idea. And it also kind of makes me feel like there's a little hidden room, you know? Like I can hide in here if I really needed to. Kind of cool. Kind of cozy. Not really. So I'm making the frame 2.5 inches wide. That way I have room to mount the hinges for the door. This thing must have moved when I was cutting it because it started at 2.5 inches and then it just migrated to like almost 2 3/4. So I'm actually gonna fix that with the table saw and make sure that is all straight. Sorry, oh shit, sorry Tony. I'm such a disaster. Okay. So I have the frame all cut and this is how it's gonna go in. But first I have to attach it with pocket screws. And then I'm gonna do edge banding all the way around so that way, you know, the rough edges are not showing. And I'm gonna paint it to match the white cabinet. Normally when I'm putting something together with pocket screws, I also like to use wood glue for extra support, but I completely forgot and I didn't realize it until I was watching this footage. It's getting dark outside, so I'll do the edge banding and the painting tomorrow. But I'm gonna test fit this frame to make sure that it fits. yeah. Whew. Now I can barely fit in here. It fits. You've probably noticed that I do most of my work outside, and one day I hope to have a big workshop, but starting out is hard because all of that costs money, and I'm not complaining about what I have, because for a beginner, I have a lot of tools already, and that is because over the years, I've bought tools as I need them, and some of them have been gifts from my family. My first tool was a $20 corded drill, and I had to drag an extension cord with me everywhere because the plug would never reach the outlet. So it's okay to start little by little. The nice thing about working outside is that the cleanup is minimal, and I don't have to worry about the dust because it just scatters into the air and it becomes part of nature again. The downside is that I have to set up every day in the mornings, and I can't really leave things out overnight because I'm in Florida and it's really humid, it rains a lot, so I have to put everything away every night. But that's okay. I'm very grateful that I have the space where I can make things when I feel creative or when I decide that building cabinets for my laundry is a good idea. So it's edge banding time, and I feel like I've shown a lot of edge banding on the last few videos, so I'm just gonna quickly go through this in case you're not familiar with edge banding. Basically, edge banding is what covers the edge of the plywood so it doesn't look unfinished like this. And you apply it with an iron, it's self-adhesive with the heat of the iron, and then you use a little trimmer to clean off the edges. Then you sand the edges to blend them in and make them smooth. But for some reason, every time I work with edge banding, I mess up an area or two. The edge trimmer is really sharp, so sometimes it catches on the veneer and it takes it off. And last time I fixed that with a stain marker, but I can't find it. I have no idea where I put it. So I'm attempting to fix it with a Sharpie, but I'm afraid that it looks worse. I'm not sure. Maybe it doesn't. I think it looks better than the orangey color. So the reason I went with a Sharpie and a darker color is because that is a natural stain, or it's part of the grain on the wood. Like, I didn't do that. See, and there's some more over there. So I'm kind of trying to mimic that. So I know it probably looks like it contrasts a lot with the wood. So that's why I decided to do the darker color. I got this primed, and now it's drying. Well, it's dry because I touched it, but I have to go get the wood for the doors so I can start building the doors because I didn't buy enough last time. I thought I did, but I only have like one piece, which is not enough to make the door. So I'll be right back. Where the shot starts. Delete all of that before that. Okay, So I'm all done with the first coat, and while that dries, I'm gonna go ahead and start building the frame of the door because I only have about a couple hours before it gets dark, and I would really like to get the door done today. So I'm gonna get into it. To make the doors, I use poplar wood and cut it to size. I then attached it together with wood glue and pocket screws. No, you gotta be kidding me. It's cracked. I think I pushed the screw a little too far and it cracked that piece. I gotta take it off before the glue dries. See it right there? I already took the screws off, but it's pretty bad. So, alright, so I found this piece. I'm not too excited about it because it has a knot in the middle and I have to repair it. That's why I didn't use it to begin with. I've gotten a new piece that was a little bit better, but I guess I'm gonna have to stick with this because otherwise I have to go back to the store, get a new one, and I'm not doing all that. Not today. No cracks. I think we're good. I routed the back of the frame to make room for the panel that covers the middle part. The router doesn't leave square corners, so I use a chisel to make the corner square so that the panel fits right in. I then cut the panel to size. It almost fit. I use wood glue and nails to secure the panel in place. I then use a Craig jig to drill for the hinges. After I was done, I sanded the whole door with 150 grit to prep it for priming. I put the hinges in the door, then I mounted the door to the frame to test it out before I permanently install it inside. So I thought it would be a good idea to shrink wrap the plywood piece that I'm using as a work table because I'm gonna paint the door and I don't want the table to get painted. But then I started second guessing my idea. After all that chaos, I applied the primer to the door using a pneumatic sprayer.
Misty, come here. Misty, on this side. Come on. Come here. Come here. Come here.
I sanded the primer with 220 grit after it dried to make it smooth and get it ready for painting. The last set of doors I painted with a smaller sprayer, but it gave me a lot of issues, and I think it was because the paint was thick, so I decided to use my other paint sprayer, which worked out really well. I was a bit scared at first because the sprayer shoots out a lot of paint, so the coats were really thick, and I was nervous about how the paint was going to dry, but it actually came out really nice. I also finished the inside of the frame with polyurethane so it would match the rest of the cabinets on the inside. I finally get to put this together and I'm so excited because this is one of the main parts of the laundry and it's gonna look so good when it's done. So I can't wait. I think I should have made this a little bit bigger. I don't know why I find this funny. There's a reason why I made it small. It's because the other side, it's very important that the other side fits 2 little boxes at the bottom. So when I did all the measurements, like this just ended up being this small. So if you're ever building something like this for yourself, you can build it whatever size you want. Especially if you're doing like an access through, just make sure you build it big enough for you. Otherwise, you'll end up like this. Sideways, I'm good though. I can reach everything in here. Looking pretty good, other than, you know, it's a little tight in here. So the plan right now is to mount this. I'm going to secure it to the panel here and to the wall, kind of. But you see, like, there's a little gap over here. That's going to have a filler. So I'm going to cut a strip that's going to go between the wall and this. So it's going to look all built in. I'm going to trim the baseboard. And then after that, I can mount the doors. And I think I'll be done with this part of the project. We'll see. Broom closet, done. I sometimes can't believe how good this is looking. Like, this all started with a drawing on paper. And I'm not gonna lie, there was times that I wasn't sure that I was gonna finish this because this has taken me months. I work full time and not having a lot of experience doing this, it's just taken me forever. I've made mistakes along the way, but I learned a lot by just doing it. Now it's almost done. Like, look at it, it's almost done. The last couple things I have to do now are making the floating drawers that go here with the top, and then I gotta cover that ugly vent pipe and block this somehow because I don't want the cats getting there, you know, back there. So, and after that, I'm done. It'll look just like my drawing. I'm so excited. The next step is to build the floating drawers that go on the right side of the washer and dryer, and it ends up being one of my favorite parts of the project, but it doesn't go without its challenges. I did that completely wrong. I have a problem. It doesn't fit. You did it again? It doesn't fit.